Welcome to the Fearless Females Voice podcast, where women's stories and experiences are shared in order to empower and inspire others. This episode is very special to me. It has been 4 months since I started the Becoming Fearless program, and Mira was my first ever client. She had been following me on Instagram and Facebook, where I was adding value, and she completed all of the free exercises and took all of the content on board, but wanted more. She wanted the support, knowledge, and accountability to really see changes in her life. Before joining the program, Mira was, in her own words, all over the place with no direction, had no confidence, and didn't know how to reach her goals. During our initial call, we went through her blockers, her goals, how the program would support her, and she was set to start. She had made incredible progress in the 12 weeks, but recognized the benefits of our work, so continued working with me on a one-to-one basis. She made changes from day one, and now after the program, she is more confident, has a clear direction, has progressed in her career, and also within her relationships. On this podcast, Mira talks us through what life was like before the program, her experiences of working with me and the Becoming Fearless program, the benefits that she's seen, the changes she's experienced, and her future plans. I have loved working with Mira, who is so dedicated to her personal growth and is progressing week on week. I really hope you enjoy the listen, and if you have any questions about the Becoming Fearless program, then just drop me a DM on Instagram, Facebook, or even drop me an email. I hope you enjoy the listen. So without further ado, let's get stuck in. Thank you so much, Mira, for coming on this podcast. As I said, you are my first ever client to join the program and to work with me. So we've been working with each other for just under 4 months now. And I still remember our first ever call. I still remember what you were like on the call, what you were trying to achieve, and you then taking the plunge to invest in yourself and work on yourself and get to where you are now. So Mira, what were things like for you before you started the Becoming Fearless 12-week program?
Okay, before I started the Becoming Fearless 12-week program, I know I had no proper direction of what I wanted to do, of, I suppose, also my mindset. I was doing a lot of things in general just because, well, I suppose the pandemic contributed to that. I just was taking on opportunities. The no direction was because I like to try everything, I like to do everything, but half of it wasn't so purposeful, half of it was. And because I was doing so much, my mind was all over the place, doing 10 things at the same time where I didn't even have a proper focus. And that was career-wise, personal life, and literally, I didn't even make time for myself to do my own things as well. So life was basically all over the place before the program.
And how did you come across the program?
I followed you on Facebook and Instagram, and it was all advertised there, like you shared on the stories. I was like, when I saw it, Fearless Females, I was like, this sounds like what I want to be. And I thought already from my past, I had done quite a few fearless things, but then looking into it, I was like, yes, I had, but I'd lost all of that. When I kept reading stuff and watching little videos, even on your Facebook group, I was like, I did, and listening to the first few podcasts as well, and there's many things I could relate to, like as a woman in any career and just in the industries that I'm in. I was like, oh my goodness, there's many things I haven't done and many things I want to do. Every podcast, every female you've had on there, I was like, I want to be like them.
And why do you think you weren't like that? So before you started the program, what is it that you were really lacking?
I think the main important thing that I lacked a lot was confidence. I think my confidence is what knocked me down to give myself more of a purpose, more of a real direction. I just do everything here, there, and everywhere. But I think the lack of confidence in that came from not pursuing a proper direction in anything. I just doing everything because I enjoyed it, not because it's something I really wanted to do. I just took it for then in the moment, never really thought about the long term. and I could not be living my life like that forever. So
okay. And what was your trigger moment for joining when you saw everything on my Facebook and Instagram page? What made you think, this is it, this is now or never kind of thing?
I think it's when, you had put on about how you started Fearless Females, and also that 3-day Fearless program
Challenge.
or Fearless Challenge. Yeah. So I took part in that too. And I was like, oh, there's more. There's more I need to discover. I was like, this is going to take a while. There's so much more. And I was reading about your program, and you had done that test as well. And I was like, yes, I need this, I need this, I need this. So I knew I needed to, this was the time I needed to give myself to make big changes. And there's a lot of things I wanted to do in life, but I didn't know whether it was so relevant, whether that was actually what I wanted to do, or whether I'm currently wasting my time on what I'm doing. I was literally all over the place. And I wasn't too sure whether it'd help or not. But then after having spoken to you, I was like, yes, this is something that will really help me. And I need to invest myself into this. So, and yeah, it's definitely helped me a lot. So.
Amazing. I remember our first call and how different things were back then. So do you want to tell me a bit more about, you said you were ready to invest in yourself, but that's quite a difficult decision to make. I know many women are afraid of investing in themselves, afraid of really coming out of their comfort zone and challenging themselves to grow. So how did you find that in yourself to be like, right, I'm going to invest in myself?
I think it's because of the situation I was in, with the whole effects of the pandemic. I had my life was going to be different 2 years ago, and it all just changed when COVID started. So I was basically in a position, I was basically in a position where I had to start from the beginning again, like work-wise, everything. And I don't know, it's more like I've got nothing to lose, and I know I know everything's all over the place. And yeah, I don't know. It's just I've got I can't say I've got the time, because I never ever made time for myself. But I was like, with this, even just my lifestyle, home, friends, I was like, with this, everything that I learned of it from the website, from the Instagram page, I was like, this is something I know I need to do. So I justified it in myself that it was worthwhile putting time and effort into this, to do it for myself. Honestly, I was like, this is something I need to do for myself, just to make changes. And I was open to whatever changes would happen within me, because honestly, I was so all over the place. I had no idea what to expect of myself either.
It sounds like the key challenges for you really were the lack of confidence, the lack of direction, and the lack of achieving the goals that you wanted. So there, I'd say the three challenges that you were facing. So you mentioned a bit about the call that we had. How did you find that call?
That call, oh my goodness, it was such a long time ago.
Yeah.
Before I'd even had that call with you, I knew I wanted to join the program. And after having spoken to you, I think even at that time, there was a lot of issues I was going through, not personal issues, maybe they were personal, but more work related, cricket related, just a lot of things all over the place. You made me realize, there are other things that contribute to the worries I was feeling, that I can do what I need to do. I just need to realize that in myself. And then you explained how the program would help with that. And I was like, yeah, I was going to sign up to this anyway, but I'm definitely doing it now too.
Amazing. And so let's talk a bit more about the program itself then. So how has your experience been for the first 12 weeks? So it is a 12-week program, but you've decided to continue working with me on a one-to-one basis. So let's focus firstly on the program itself. How was the first 12 weeks of that?
You broke down the program, each week there's a new focus which develops on the week before, and I was literally pulled in from week one, because we discover our values, and like just openly. If someone asked me what do you value, I would have no idea. I would be saying words, things left, right, and center. Whereas you really dig deep in the program, and dig deep in terms of just take things off the surface and reoccurring things off the surface. Like, say, for example, what's in my handbag? What do I grab and go? And these little things, they mean a lot to you, but and they are part of what you value, what your actual values are in life. But you take it for granted. You don't really notice that, oh, I do that for a certain reason, even though it's just some everyday habit. So honestly, that kickstart everything. I was like, oh, I am now looking forward to what else I'm going to discover about myself. I think I started to, because I couldn't make the first few group calls, but then when I made one of them, like, it was so nice to just be, well, it was all virtual online, but it's just nice to be in the room, I'm going to say, with other ladies that are on this program too, on the same journey as you, but they had their different focuses, they had their different incentives. However, what we discussed was always relatable, no matter what they're going through, no matter what challenges they had, no matter whatever their goals were. We'd share our stories, share our wins, and you'd be like, oh yeah, I also had that kind of win this week too. And it's totally unrelatable and more to their focus, but it made you feel happy, it made you feel more positive, made you feel like you were moving in a good direction forward, like, no matter what. Like, I don't know, it was like a nice little support thing every week. And then I think I fell behind on some of the programs. However, we were doing one-to-one calls, which I thought was honestly so helpful. Like, doing the one-to-one calls, the group calls, and obviously the exercises online, it really made you accountable for your own development. Like, you were always asking me every week on how my week was, and we had set not deadlines, we had set tasks to complete, like personal tasks and values or goals. It has to do with my goals, like career, for example. And there'd be reasons why sometimes I hadn't met it that week, and reasons and sometimes I had met it the other weeks. And it's like, sometimes we dig deeper into why I hadn't met it, and that would always relate back to my confidence. Or another thing is that I hadn't made time to do it. Other things had happened. However, then the other things that happen, you wouldn't just brush past them. We'd explore that instead, because, like, I don't know, life happens, like, things happen, things change, things can be thrown at you and throw you off path. However, doing the program, even with the group calls, you realize that these things haven't actually thrown you off path. It's just part of the path, if that makes sense.
I love that. That makes perfect sense. And thank you so much. That was so nice of you to say. I'd like to dig a bit deeper on the calls, the one-to-one calls. Let's focus there. How did you feel during the one-to-one calls?
Well, doing the one-to-one calls, I felt more comfortable, because, well, I suppose it's you as well. You make us feel very comfortable. It's like talking, it's literally like having a chat with a friend, and just like exploring everything. Like, I don't know, it made me, I suppose having one-to-one calls made me think more openly and more deeper. And because it was one-to-one, I felt more comfortable sharing more details and more personal stories and experiences. It resonated with me a lot more, because you always used to say things like, there's one thing that stuck with me, especially when there was some tasks that took 2-3 weeks to actually end up doing. And he said to me that if you're not going to put the time and effort into it, nothing will happen. To take action now. And that's with anything and everything in life. But that really stuck with me, and I was like, oh my God, she's right. I need to actually do this. But like, like I don't know, another way I felt was that they were really powerful in that sense.
Amazing. And let's now talk about the program itself. So the 12-week program, how did you feel throughout that program? And would you say you were ever challenged during that 12 weeks?
Throughout the 12 weeks, I think I was challenged, like a good challenge, because like a lot of the things, like for example, just things are like in my everyday routine that the program covered, that contributed towards like a future goal. Like you realize like things you do every day affect like basically align the story for the future. So so literally every week on week there was always a small challenge, and a challenge that is easily overcome. However, I suppose without the program, I either had ignored it or would not realize that is something like a positive change I need to make in my life to be able to reach, to be able to achieve what I want to achieve. Like that's definitely for sure. Like you look back and you're like, I can easily, like for example, easily not sleep with the phone next to me in my bed, easily. But the importance of actually not doing that had not, I don't know, would not be as clear, or as not resonate so much with me if I hadn't been part of the program. Obviously, there's a lot more deeper stuff around it, a lot more bigger things that we covered too. However, something so small like that, like people would take it for granted. Yeah, it makes such a big difference in their life.
Absolutely. So when you started the program, what were your main goals?
So when I started, my main goals was to have more of a refined path in my career, to actually figure out what I wanted to do. As I was applying for everything left, right, and center, I was doing temporary work left, right, and center anyway. And I didn't know if I wanted to go back to a previous role from many years ago or company. And I didn't know if I really wanted to pursue more work within cricket, because cricket's a passion. I coach it, I do it part-time and voluntary, and it does take up most of my life. I didn't know if I wanted that to be permanent either. And also relationships, that was a big thing for me, because like I haven't been in a relationship for about 7 years, and I don't know, I'm okay with that. Like I've enjoyed life a lot. I've got to travel, I've got to live in many places. However, when you hit 30, with being an Asian girl, you're like, okay, maybe I need to start being more serious about my life and my relationship. However, I didn't want that kind of pressure on myself, and I tried not to put on myself. But then you look around you, the people you're with, they are with someone, or they're doing something to find someone, like they're being really proactive about it. Whereas I just felt like that was another lacking confidence. I felt like, oh, I didn't know what to do. There are many opportunities that I have had where I just froze or backed out, or I don't know. And that's another thing. Basically, it was just beforehand, I was just not doing anything, and finding an excuse to not be doing it. Like I did other things instead, probably just went and played sport, went out for a run. Like, yeah.
Okay. And where are you at now? So you've done 12 weeks on the Becoming Fearless program, and we are now in our 4th week of one-to-one coaching as well. So where are you now from where you were before?
Oh, wow. If anyone knew me before the program to now, they would probably say I'm a different person entirely. Like, more importantly, the way I talk to people. So this not even like this probably comes down to relationships, but more my family and friends. Like I feel like through the program I've become more mindful, and like just because my mind before was all over the place. So now the time I spend with people, or the time I have with people, I make it more of a quality time. So even like when I'm coaching the ladies, my mind was in the wrong place. I wasn't thinking, I was thinking like that, but not doing it properly. And now basically it just automatically is focus on making that opportunity a quality opportunity. And even like I suppose, other relationships. Like, it's taken a while to break through. And with all the messages I've sent you, but like, there's a lot of like pushing myself so I can do this, and just telling myself, the worst isn't actually a bad outcome, and just going for it, just asking the question, or trying to think around it to try and make the opportunity happen, to actually speak to a person of interest like that.
Do you feel good?
My rights don't fit. Yes, definitely feel a lot. Yeah, definitely feel a lot better. I still feel like, that's why I'm continuing with the one-to-ones. I still feel with that part of me, there's a long way to go. And I know with the difference the whole program's made in the first place, that is why I'm continuing with the one-to-ones, because I don't want to stop. I want to keep growing. I want to improve myself a lot more. And there's so many aspects, I suppose even anyone could relate to many different aspects in life. Once you've reached the goal, the later on that goal might change. And then it's not like going back from the beginning, maybe starting from halfway again, but there's still always things working on. Like, we're always growing, we're always learning. And like with these one-to-ones, it really helps me like put my foot down on it a bit more.
Amazing. And if we go back to how you were before the program, so you talked about lacking confidence, not having a direction, not achieving your goals or working on your career or your relationship. So that's what life was like before this program. Can you tell me, how has the program impacted those 3 key areas? So how are you now with those areas of confidence, your goals, and the direction in life?
Basically, the program has turned all my lack of this around. So confidence has gone up a lot. Confidence in myself to do things has gone up a lot. And that is towards career. And what was the last one?
Relationships
mainly because I'm becoming more confident to speak to people. And this is not just relationships, like people of interest, people I want to date, but people I want to make friends with, people that are always around me that I need to value because they're always around me, like my family and close friends. So keeping those relationships tight. And obviously, like I mentioned before, like my quality of conversation I have with them, the time I spend with them, making it more worthwhile. In terms of dating people, it's getting there. It's before it was non-existent. I'd find an excuse to not do it. I'd just literally not do it. Just do something else instead. Whereas now I'm thinking like, to go on more dates, just to be more confident in talking to, like, having these kind of conversations on a date with a stranger or someone of interest like that, just to actually do it. Career-wise, I actually have a proper direction. I know what I want to do. Obviously, I know I want to find something more permanent, and now I know it's within cricket. And okay. I think I'm being very brave by admitting it's in cricket, because throughout being involved in the sport and industry for a long time, there have been many things that have made me not want to go towards it, but everything we've built up to get to where I am right now, making the moves, having career discussions with fellow colleagues or other people I volunteer with, just creating these opportunities for myself to discover more and realize what I actually want, like that has helped. And obviously the confidence comes back to that, to actually make those moves and do those things and search for this instead of this. Like you said, in terms of careers, aim higher, because you never know. Like I've always, like in terms of looking for a permanent job, I've always aimed at something the same or slightly below, like, whereas go for something in like you just tick 3 boxes for, because you never know. There's other things in life that you can actually relate to and have done it, and the pay will be more, and everything will be more rewarding.
And if you were to summarize your top 3 wins from the program, what would they be?
Top 3 wins. I think the first win is obviously grow in confidence, like more being more confident in myself to do things and to take action, or almost take action, take the small steps to making the bigger thing happen. Another thing would be as well, I've managed to create more time for myself, because that was one of my values. And by doing this program, obviously it breaks down everything in your life. I've found time to be by myself, to figure things out for myself, even learn things. Like I like reading. I've been able to read more, like figure things out. I found time to actually journal things down. Like if things occupying my mind, let's just write it down and figure it out with pen and paper, or just, what did you call it? A brain dump. Just brain dump it, because obviously before my mind was always all over the place. And that's one thing that's helped too, because it's helped me have some kind of focus on whatever I need to be doing at that time, whether it's coaching, whether it's work, whether it's just listening to my mum and dad and spending time with them, like that. So having a more clear mind. And the third thing is the focus on my career, like having now found a direction. That's
amazing. I love that. And if you were to summarize your whole experience through working on the program and working with me, what has it been like in summary?
In summary, this Becoming Fearless program has definitely made me become more fearless. Honestly, like, to summarize, I have grown more confident. I have become more mindful, and I have gained a direction in many things in life. So yeah, is that a good summary? I don't know.
Amazing. That's good. And would you recommend this program or working with me to others?
Oh, totally. I would definitely recommend. Like, it's hard to explain, but there's so many things where there are loads of like confident people out there, lots of fearless people out there already, people that step out their comfort zone on a regular basis. But there are many things in life where you might feel doesn't quite fit the puzzle, and even for the smallest thing, this program is so valuable. Like it will change your life from day one. Forget week one, from before you even started, from the call with you. Like there's a lot of realization that has happened through this program. So I definitely recommend it.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining me. You're my first ever client. I'm always going to remember our first call and remember working with you. And it's been such a pleasure. I've seen you grow from day one, literally since that call, to where you are now. And it's incredible. Every week I look forward to our calls, because I just know that you're going to be delivering more and more, working on yourself more and more, and you're just constantly growing. And it's just amazing to see. Amazing to see. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast, and thank you for your kind words.
Oh, thank you so much. I've enjoyed it so much, and I'm looking forward to more of my own growth and what the one-to-ones can keep continuing to help me with. Thank you.
Good. Thank you so much for listening to the Fearless Females Voice podcast. Don't forget, I have a free quiz for you which will help you discover how fearless you are. It identifies where you're being held back in life and will give you some tips at the end on how to improve your mindset and confidence so you are living your best life. You can take the free quiz on my website, www.fearlessfemales.me. Also, I'd love for you to do me a massive favor. If you enjoyed the podcast, then be sure to leave a 5-star review on iTunes. Thank you.